The FBI has named 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as the suspected gunman behind the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. FBI said the agency will probe the assassination attempt on Trump as an act of domestic terrorism. It further noted that the gunman who shot at the presidential nominee at an election rally acted alone. As investigators examine the events leading up to the attack, they are seeking to understand the background, motives, and any connections that might explain his actions. The gunman did not have a criminal history reflected in Pennsylvania's public court records. Crooks' political leanings were not immediately clear. Records show Crooks was registered as a Republican voter in Pennsylvania, but federal campaign finance reports also show he gave $15 to a progressive political action committee on the 20th January 2021. This is the same day President Joe Biden was sworn into office. Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, is joining us on the broadcast. Himanshu, dramatic events playing out in the United States of America. The police now zeroing in on the suspect, who of course has been shot dead, a man identified as Thomas Crooks, but the motive still remains unclear.
The motive still remains unclear, but the funny thing is, we were just a bullet away from probably the civil war in USA. Because civil war, why I'm saying this, first let me clarify that and then I'll go further a little bit. USA has a gun culture. And if you look at the data, you will find out the maximum number of guns are held or are the owners, Republican Party supporters. Now there you have a very huge social divide, Republican and Democratic. And in such a case, if the man proclaims himself to be Antifa member, anti-fascist member, it becomes very, very clear that it's not your ideology and so you don't like it. And this is not happened for the first time with Mr. Trump. He's been, they tried to, pull him down of the presidency candidature in various different ways. When they did not succeed, this is the final thing. And what I find is, the probe which has been going on and what I'm hearing, how is it that a man goes on a rooftop of a building, on the other building, there is a security agency commando there, and still the man is able to shoot 8 bullets from his assault rifle. And he was not carrying just a gun or sniper. He was not a sniper. He was carrying an assault rifle. 8 bullets. And the way media reports it is also very, very funny. So these are all the things, which point to something very big. And let me tell you something which I have come to know. Probably you will also know that this man, 20-year-old, just a youth, just coming out of the youth of the teenage. The man was a model. He has modeled for the local county school, and that school is allegedly to be run by a big corporation. So these things, don't add up somewhere down the line. I have a very strong suspicion, if the fair deal is done, or the fair probe is done, then what will happen is, so many things will come out of the closet. But what I find right now is, the chances of that before the election seem to be very, very little. Because it's FBI which is going to probe, CIA which is going to probe. What are they doing? What are they doing? Are they running a democracy? That USA has become more of a banana republic than anything else, I would say, where the first principle of democracy is tolerance towards opponents, which they don't seem to possess. If this is a motivated attempt to kill, I'll put it that way, motivated attempt to kill. It's something like, not sending some gunman, but corrupting a man's mind so much, corrupting a human being so much, that he himself goes and does that. This is what is basically, I feel, because he's just 20. Indoctrination, how many years it could have been? It's just out of high school. If you look at all these factors together, what I find, very, very funny, in a place like USA, which claims to be the biggest democracy and protectors and saviors of the world, what are they doing?
Okay. Major Leke Sivaj, defense expert, also joins us. In fact, at this point, Himanshu Bhatt claiming that indoctrination perhaps doesn't really happen at this young age. But Major Leke Sivaj, we still don't know this individual's political leanings. Right now, the police and the FBI investigating the case believe that he acted alone. But that is something that we'll only get to know in a couple of days once more investigations take place, Major General Sivaj.
Absolutely. Uday, they should not jump the gun and say that he was a lone wolf acting alone. What was his motive? Is this a bigger conspiracy? See, the point is that there are a lot of lacuna which have been left as far as the security of ex-president of US is concerned. Just imagine as to how this secret service, when this Pennsylvania, where basically Donald Trump was speaking to his rally, that those places which were dominating the place where he was speaking should have been occupied by Secret Service. That has not been occupied. It is about 150 meters. He can take a direct shot, and that place has not been occupied. I can't find any region, advanced country like US, which has a secret service, should have sanitized the area 1 kilometer all around. That's a basic drill. There's a protocol, there's a SOP, not only in US, all over in the world. So there are so many lacunas which have been left, create a doubt in the mind whether it is a lone wolf operation or whether there is a bigger conspiracy in that. And the issue which comes is, you see, we have been time and again telling that US, as far as the gun laws are concerned, these are very lenient. And the biggest problem today is that 40% of the population is having a weapon. And there are about 15 to 20% people who are having more than one weapon. And so easily availability of a weapon, and something like AR-15, which is basically a replica of M16 automatic rifle, though it is a semi-automatic AR-15, and it is being used for sports and as well as hunting activity. But it's a deadly weapon. And he just missed it narrowly. With the God of grace, Donald Trump, that today he's alive. Otherwise, that assassination could have been done. So the point is, this FBI must not jump the gun and claim that he was all alone. But what was his motive? He was alone. And it can't happen that there is no conspiracy. There has to be a bigger conspiracy in that, because this Thomas Matthew Crook, which we are trying to convey, is 20 years. 20 years is quite a bit age for indoctrination and radicalization. We have seen in India it is happening. But all said and done, it creates a lot of doubt and throws a number of questions. As far as the safety and security of the old president in US is concerned, it creates so much doubt that how come that when a rally was taking place, they have not done a basic thing of covering a house which was 150 meters and overlooking the dais from where he was speaking. So that is another issue which is very, very important. Now, 2-3 more issues which comes as far as this issue is concerned, Uday. The point today is that he could fire almost 7 to 8 shots, then only he could be neutralized. Now, in case if this was a case, the place where the shooter was sitting, that was the place where possibly the Secret Service chap should have been there, because this is the closest and this covers everything. Instead of Secret Service, you find a shooter who is a 20 years old boy, a local boy was sitting, and no one came to know. And there is a rumor coming that there are some spectators who have seen him and have given this sort of information to Secret Service, but they have not acted. So there are a number of doubts which have been left. There are a number of questions which have been unanswered. But today, what will happen after this incident? That is very important. Now, the point is, this will chart the whole environment, and Donald Trump has become a hero and a victim, and he will be the beneficiary of sympathy way.
Okay, so no political benefit could certainly, come in for Donald Trump because of this, this incident. Of course, there is an election looming in the United States of America. But Surinder Singh Lali, international affairs expert, if I can quickly rope you in here on, of course, this incident. What do you believe the motives could possibly be, or is it too early to say that? And how do you react to the status of the investigation so far?
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be here. And I think the two distinguished people before me have made some of what I had to say, but by by virtue of me being in and out of the United States for 35 years now. I went to school, college, and work there, so I'm going to park my point next to their point too. Uday, in a country where the gun population is more than the population of the people. So if there are 33 crore people in the United States, 33.33, so we're looking at 34 crore. That's a very conservative, figure. And I personally have friends in my fraternity, brothers from school and college, who own 3 to 5 guns each. So that's one part, and for that, I think a lot of people are missing the woods for the trees, which is that the fact that the nuclear way of life has virtually failed in the US. It happens to be one of my favorite destinations across the world, but I still would call a spade a spade. That, with the financial affluence and the industrial revolution, what happened was, which is also going to happen in India in terms of the families becoming more nuclear and people living by themselves. So there isn't a culture of family support and there is nobody to criticize you. And not to mention with the new vokery laws across the world, you could be taken to court even for calling somebody fat, who is fat, or somebody tall, too tall, because this is how the world is getting into. So while there could be many conspiracy theories, but this could be another lone wolf who actually was a registered Republican. But when you live in such isolation, when you're living out of a basement, there is nobody to let you know when you check and, cross that Lakshman Rekha. And of course, the failure of the much hyped, the Secret Service and the CIA is huge. I mean, on a note of levity, America's one of their biggest exports is on Netflix, is Hollywood, is, the CIA and the tactical movements and the DEAs and how they do it. I mean, this failure is laughable. 150 yards away, there is a gentleman who walks up with a rifle and he takes about 7 to 8 shots. I mean, and the worst is now is happening what used to happen in India. They started passing the buck around. Now they're throwing it at the Philadelphia police, and the Philadelphia is throwing it back at the national agency. So I think on a note of levity, the biggest damage would be that I don't think I'm going to enjoy watching Netflix anymore, because this is the level of failure that they have. I mean, even if the law enforcement were to watch Netflix, they would have better protocols and not have an ex-president 150 yards away like a sitting duck from a terrace, where a 20-year-old guy, for reasons best known to him, crawls up with a rifle. Hadn't this for BBC, I wouldn't have quoted and stuck my neck out. There were 2 observations on BBC yesterday, that there was a kid and a father, and the kid told his father, look, there is this gentleman with a rifle crawling up into that sort of whatever that deserted warehouse was. Number 2, just next to the site, which by the way, Butler County also happens to be Donald Trump's own country, because it's a strong Republican constituency. And not to mention, Donald Trump has been a strong supporter of the NRA, the National Rifle Association. So there was a truck on which there was a digital billboard which said that, with Donald Trump's face and a target painted on his face, saying that the Democrats are out to kill Donald Trump. So I don't know what I'm sorry, but I don't know what the American Secret Service has been smoking, because I think this is more than anything else but laughable. But I'm just going to make my last point, that I think, as they say, you live by the gun and you die by the gun. And the best example for us, General Saab would agree, is the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which is a free case study for the world to study. NRA, it came into existence on the 17th of November, 1871. And what is the motto or the primary goal of NRA, a rifle association which promotes guns, quote opens, promote and encourage rifle shooting on a scientific basis, quote close. I mean, where do you get this logic from? I always felt that America, which talks about such high levels of forensics and all sorts of secretive and CIA, if they are allowing so many guns into the society, which to me is an acknowledgement, if not a referendum, of the failure of your faith in the policing. Because what is the law enforcement for? I mean, what else would you call, gun culture in the hinterland of UP or in the hinterland of any country or parts of South America, where the size of your real estate or the size of your gun control gives you the power in the Kap Panchayat. So what I find laughable is that this levels of failure, I don't think I'm going to enjoy watching this. And one more example, if you just allow me to complete. So much so for the hype of Mossad. I mean, I have great respect now for Indian agencies. Imagine, I mean, God forbid something was to happen. Our prime minister goes into constituencies, he does a roadshow for 14 kilometers. And then, there could be so much that can go wrong, but still, our agencies are doing a far better job who are not monetizing on their TV shows on Netflix than the so-called Secret Service wearing those white glasses.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.